What's up and welcome to Idle Insights, a show where each week I, Treavor Bettis, talk to interesting people about idle champions and Dungeons and Dragons. And joining me this week is returning guest Mike Fatum. Hello!
Hello! How are
Ah!
you? Kermit Flail!
Yes, Kermit Flail. That is how
Oh
we
my
intro
God.
the show.
I was just looking at, this is totally derailing the stream right at the start, I'm sorry.
I
But I
mean,
was
what
just
are we
looking
here
at,
for?
right, I was just looking at a meme where somebody fan cast Muppets Lord of the Rings, and
Yes.
it was just all incorrect. They had Kermit as Frodo when Kermit is clearly Gandalf, like...
Well, I think that might be the conversation of the chat for the rest of the show now.
Yeah.
Who's your fan cast of the Muppets as Lord of the Rings? I've got that Blue Eagle man as Aragorn. I don't know why.
Sam Eagle? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Sam Eagle. There we go. Lauren now wants to know who was Gonzo. Oh, or who's Gonzo in the meme? Actually,
Who's Gonzo in the meme? In the meme, I downloaded it, so let me see if I can.
I love this first time person in the chat. Wow, yeah, welcome. This is what it's like on an episode with me and Mike.
Yeah, this is what happens. We use this as an excuse to just hang out, and sometimes we talk about D&D, I guess.
Lauren says no. Sam is the king of Rohan, and you know what? I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
mind that. I like that
100%.
quite a bit. Yeah.
Here we go. Muppet Lord of the Rings. Okay. Gonzo was I believe that's Mary. Yeah, Gonzo is Mary and Rizzo is Pippin, which that
Okay.
that makes perfect sense.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Mike, if people in the chat don't know who you are you for those fine folks who do not know?
I'm the guy who comes up with talks about random memes on the show.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, my name is Mike Fatum or Mikey Fatum. I also go by Ambassador Cal when I'm working, and I am the senior community manager for Star Trek Online, Neverwinter, and Champions Online, and also the writer for Champions Online.
You're a very busy man.
I'm so busy. Please let me sleep.
You get proficiency in juggling just as like a side thing.
I wear all the hats.
Yes,
at once.
yeah. Proficient in juggling, owner of haberdashery.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're gonna be talking about some stuff that's coming to Neverwinter. But before that, do a little icebreaker question like I like to do. This time it's gonna be, Mike, tell me about the first time you DM'd.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember. I know I didn't get to play any role-playing games until college. When I was in high school, my brother got me a copy of Shadowrun that they found at a yard sale, and I read
Ooh.
that thing so many times through, dreaming of the one day that I'd get to, have friends and play TTRPGs with them. And from there, in college, I know I played a 3.5 game of the unfortunately named Oriental Adventures.
Ah,
And did
yeah, that's
but I don't think I DM'd any D&D in college. I think it was after college when I got into 4th edition that I started doing because the local Borders had a open game. I know. Rest in
I
peace,
miss
Borders.
Borders.
They had an open game, and then what the open game was so successful, they started doing encounters, which was the like organized
Yeah.
play. And so I ran encounters a couple of times, which was really a really fun like DM training school, because you had like different people at the table every single week, and like
Mhm.
so you had I would always just say, oh, it's the multiverse, people teleport in and out and keep the story going, but like it also taught me a lot about like running off of a module but making it your own, so that people like feel like immersed and have fun. You're not just like, oh, you did the ritual, okay, ritual's over, let's go.
That's so funny though that you say that it was Borders and everything, because like Borders and 4th edition have like this like those are a pie chart going over each other. Like my Barnes and Noble near me didn't have D&D books when I got into 4th edition, but Borders did, and so like I spent hours there. It was like, okay, they got the Dragonomicon here, well, and they got the DM's guide too. And they also had this really cool mini set with a giant like white dragon in it, and I wanted it so bad.
Oh,
But it was so
yeah,
expensive, and I was just a parking lot attendant.
We did that. So okay, so I think I've told this story on this show before, but the open game that I joined, it kept going even after borders closed because it was an open game. There were like 12 of us at the table. And so we actually got our DM that white dragon set as a present. And then he dropped the white dragon on us. And because there were 12 of us and we were like level 10 or 11 in 4th edition, we dropped it in one turn. he was so sad.
I have a memory like that in 4th edition, but it was with a Hydra. I was so excited. I had gotten the mini and they nuked it. Just instantly. Nuked it. Oh my gosh. Fun times with 4th edition.
Oh man, there was one this is a no shoot there I was, but there was one point where I can't remember, we had to we had two different things. We had a giant dragon, like a bigger than an adult dragon. I can't remember what class it is, but ancient dragon. Yeah, the model was like this big coming after us, and we had also had this horn that we had to destroy. And I remember my monk like ran up a tree, his minotaur, because he was wearing the horn we had to destroy, like pulled the horn off his head, tossed it into the dragon's mouth, and then dove off the tree as the dragon breathed fire. It was like, I will never be this cool again in my life.
That's pretty badass. It's pretty badass. Okay, well, Mike, tell me about what's been going on with Neverwinter since last we spoke.
Yeah, so last time we talked, Neverwinter had made its first foray into Wildspace with the release of Spelljammer, our first Spelljammer module called Spelljammer, which was about Spelljammer. Fair. Honestly, I suggested that name because we were going to call it Light of Xerxes at first, and I was like, no one knows who Xerxes is. We should call it Spelljammer. So players in Neverwinter got their first taste of the Astral Sea. They got to climb on board their own not starship, but
Spelljammer.
Spelljammer, yeah, right, Spelljammer. The Moon Dancer, and joined this campaign against the Xerixian space elves who are, trying to suck the light out of the sun and lay waste to everything, that kind of thing. And so now we are into our second module and final in the Spelljammer space, called Adventures in Wildspace, which is the subtitle of the
very clever there.
So
Yes. So what well, actually, better question is like what all was in the last, like where did we leave off last time with that module?
Well, the adventurers had made their first steps into space. Like I said, we had a new adventure zone that was Wildspace. So instead of having like a big open area to run around like our previous modules, this one actually was a bunch of different landing sites. So you can travel to different like asteroids and planets and complete different objectives there for the strange and wonderful people who live on them. It actually reminded me a lot of STO. It felt very Star Trek. And there's more of that this time. But the players, I think, had rescued the Xerixian princess, who is standing against the Xerixian king, and we're starting the rebellion, and now you can finish it.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it is funny that y'all do Star Trek Online, and now in your D&D game, you're going to planets and doing away missions. And
you got your Star Trek in my D&D. You got your D&D in my Star Trek. Honestly, if the licensing thing wasn't, because licensing is always so hard, I would have loved years ago to do like a dragon-shaped starship in STO and like a starship companion in Neverwinter.
Yeah, you're just running around Neverwinter and you got like the Enterprise D just floating behind you.
Yep. Exactly.
They got shrunk. Yeah, this is an episode of Star Trek. It's the one where they got shrunk, the whole ship.
Shrunk, and it's a holodeck adventure. It's fine. Don't ask too many questions.
Oh boy, but no, I can't remember if I had played this before the last time we talked or if it was after. But like I did play a bit of the first Spelljammer module, and it was so cool. Like it was really wild because like I said last time, I wrote the most of the Light of the Xerxes one for Isle Champions.
Yeah,
and to experience that in a whole new game, but it's like, oh no, those are the Xerxian soldiers. Multiverse. Oh, we're on the Moon Dancer now. Oh my God,
man.
it's a star moth, and we're boarding it.
Yep.
That was real. It was really cool to see that, and get to walk around the Moon Dancer, and like have Flapjack was there and everything, and it was so. I loved it. It was such a cool experience to see, because like I played, I've told you I've played quite a bit of Neverwinter. Like I've done a max level character twice, and I seeing it in space now with all of this stuff, it was like almost a completely different game. It was wild.
It's so cool. I love Spelljammer so much as a setting. Just
Yeah.
like the whole like magic sci-fi thing. That and Eberron just like really get me pumped just from that. Like, so we're doing basically like Blade Runner or like basically Star Wars, but we're doing it with like magic and wooden ships and things like that. It's just really cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing was, like, I'd known about Spelljammer, but like I started in 4th edition, so like I wasn't around in the community at the time when Spelljammer came out. And when I started one of my 5th edition campaigns, I was like, okay, this game goes on long enough. If they get up to like level 13 or something, I'm doing Spelljammer.
We're going to space.
Yeah. By the time we got there, the Spelljammer books came out, and I was like, perfect timing. Yes.
Excellent.
And so yeah, getting to go from like level 1 where they're on the back of a wagon going into Phandalin to them on as a galleon going through Wildspace and fighting, beholder ships and stuff was really cool.
Yeah, I love when you can actually get a D&D campaign to run long. I love how watching the difference in how it, because they all kind of start sort of in the same place. Your low level adventurers, you come together for whatever reason, and then by the time you get up to the levels where you're fighting gods and traveling through space, and it's just like, and everybody goes in such different directions.
Yeah,
it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, and like for that campaign I had several like pre-written adventures in it. We started off in Phandalin, went into Waterdeep Dragon Heist, then went into Storm King's Thunder, a sequel to Tomb of Annihilation, and then into Descent into Avernus. So like that was all before Spelljammer, and that like I guess my ADHD comes out in my DMing, because I'm like, no, we can't stick on this campaign long. We got things to do. We got adventures to see.
Else.
Yeah, it's like, this is supposed to go to 1 to 20. Not this time. But yeah, but I think that also comes from like stuff like Neverwinter or other MMOs and stuff where you are with this same character going through these multiple adventures and campaigns. Like in Neverwinter, you just make a character. You can go through the Tiamat adventure. You can go through Princess of the Apocalypse and stuff like that, and you can have all that experience on one character.
Yeah.
You can go fight Strahd, and now you can go to space.
You can fight Strahd in space.
Oh, jeez.
I've always wanted to do something weird like that, like Strahd with a spaceship or something like that.
Oh my God, I never thought about Strahd von Zarovich with access to a Spelljammer and what he would do. Oh, it'd be so goth. I love it.
It'd be like a 40K starship, basically.
So what's I guess actually I can't remember. Is this update out yet, or is this coming out?
It is out. Yeah, it
came
out earlier this week. Yeah, earlier this week, or possibly last week. What is time?
Time is a pizza. So like, what is some of the stuff that is coming to this that players are looking forward to?
Well, there's a lot of cool stuff. There's a whole new adventure zone. So like the one we talked about last time. Well, actually, it's expansion to the previous adventure zone. But it's got a bunch of new landing sites to check out. It's got a bunch of new stories to go. There's new factions that you can learn more about and join and earn that thing that allegiance with, I guess. I'm not coming with the right word. And there's also a brand new arena in the adventure zone, which is really cool. You get to go and basically test yourself against enemies throughout the entire game, and to see how long you can last.
Is that the Arena of Blood?
It is the Arena of Blood.
Yeah.
And it gets harder and harder as it goes on, which is pretty great. We're interested in seeing how high players will actually get it.
Oh man, the Arena of Blood was a fun place. That was a.
Yeah.
Did you bring any of the or any of the creatures, new ones from that adventure part in the Arena of Blood, or is it testing your skill against what you fought?
I don't know for sure. I think it's mostly enemies that already existed in the game.
I mean, that's
But there
fair.
might be
I
some new
mean,
ones.
I can't imagine doing a Megapede in there. Pretty big.
Yeah, pretty big.
um. So, is there a dungeon coming with this
There
one?
is. There's a new dungeon. It's called the Imperial Citadel. Man, it's like we sent you information in advance. It's this is actually the final battle of the Light of Xerxes campaign. So you're assaulting the Xerexian Empire and their seat of power to defeat Prince Zeleth. And so it's a dungeon. It's called a dungeon, but it starts as a battle on the decks of like competing Spelljammer
Heck
ships, and
yeah.
then you fight your way through down into the Citadel itself and battle your way to the Prince. So it really feels like that, crazy winding Spelljammer adventure you'd get on a tabletop.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That was when we got to that part of the adventure in Isle Champions. I was like, I want to do three set adventures here. Like, I
Yeah.
want to do the space fight, I want to do the ground assault, I want to do the getaway. Like, and yeah, that's gonna make one heck of a dungeon. Like, I need to see if I am able to get my character in there to do that, but I'm sure that's some higher level stuff.
Maybe a little.
Maybe a smidge. So, like, I want to ask like questions about stuff that's in there, but I don't want to spoil stuff for players.
Well, maybe ask in a roundabout way, and I'll answer in a roundabout way, and we'll see if either of us knows what the hell the other is talking about.
Okay, okay. Well, here's a different one that is very roundabout.
Okay.
eh, there is a twist in the adventure book
Uh-huh.
that we didn't actually do in Idle Champions. We kept that for the table. Did you all pull the twist that was at the end of that one?
I have no idea.
Okay, okay. Well, and now for everyone out there that's watching, you're like, what?
What
Yeah,
twist?
there's a twist. What a twist. But we decided against do it because we've done that a few times. I don't know if you all, well, in Neverwinter, I know you all do some fairly different stuff from what is in the books.
Yeah, we do a lot of times. We follow the books, to a certain extent anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We definitely try to look at things and be like, okay, what is something that is this something that we want to do in the game, or is this something that we want to, let players experience at a table? Like we're always asking that question when it comes to certain things that are like big reveals or stuff like that, because obviously there's some stuff that we can't really get around revealing.
Kind of just got to do it.
Yeah, like there's definitely one in we're doing Turn of Fortune's Wheel right now, and like we do have to reveal who the villain is.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
You kind of have to. I'm sorry, but there's other times in adventures where if we on my writing podcast, we call them load-bearing plot points. And like if it's not one of those, but it's still a fun twist, it's like, do we really need to do that?
Yeah.
And like is that a conversation that happens with y'all, or is it more of like we're looking at what we can just take from this to put into our game?
It is a little bit. I think the developers they're all D&D players themselves, and so I think they're sort of the mind of like, if you do like if you're going to play this game on the tabletop, and you spoil yourself by playing it in a video game first. Like that's probably just, don't do that in that order. Which sounds harsh, but I feel like that's kind of how they think. So I don't think they think about that much, but I know we think a lot about what what determines, what will work well in our game, the way our game plays, as opposed to tabletop. Because Neverwinter is really a lot more about like the flow of action continuing to
Yeah.
go. Whereas, when you're playing on a tabletop, you might be able to like talk somebody out of something
Oh
or
yeah.
something like that.
Well, that's always the fun one with me writing for this is because no matter what, the characters on the screen are fighting something,
Hmm.
and so when the book's like they go somewhere separate from everyone to talk privately, I'm like,
Well, no, they don't.
I mean they don't though.
Yeah.
I don't know. The furniture comes to life. Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Oh boy. Um, but so okay, well, I guess like another question about the. Now, see, that's so direct because the big question is I'm like, who is like the big boss of that? Like, is that do you find that to be a spoiler of who the boss of the dungeon is?
I believe the final boss is so. In Cards on the Table, I haven't actually played the whole dungeon yet.
That's
Mike
fair.
has
That's
brought it
fair.
to it a few times, but the I believe the final boss is Prince. What's his name?
Zeleth. Okay.
Zeleth. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. But if there's a big twist that I'm not aware of,
Well, it's not that that part's not the twist I was talking about. There's another creature that shows up in the pre-written one that is a big old tough dude. I was wondering. Oh no, actually, I think I saw. Or it's the Zodar or whatever it is. I think
oh
I
yeah,
saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw y'all's artwork
mount.
of that.
Yeah, you can get that
Yeah.
armor as a mount and fly around in it like Iron Man.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's pretty exciting.
That's badass. um. So, well, okay, here's what, and I'll preface this for chat. This is no promise of anything happening in any game whatsoever. This is just a fun conversation to have. Is
Right.
there an adventure that is out right now that for D&D that that hasn't been brought to Neverwinter that you would like to see brought there?
So me personally, I want Eberron in our game so bad. I don't think the rest of the team shares my Eberron enthusiasm. But maybe. But yeah, I think Eberron is it's just the coolest setting, and I want to do, I want us to do a train heist or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone would be pretty sweet in that game. Like even if you just got like one area of one of the cities,
Right.
and just all like I mean that is so vastly different from like the streets of Neverwinter. Like
Yeah,
you
or
got the
even from
rail
like
cars
Mensafer or
going
something, if we've
and
done. Yeah, like floating palaces, things like that.
yeah. Ugh. Oh, and I mean it would give an opportunity to bring Warforged in too, which are
Yeah, I would
yeah.
love Warforged. I'm so sad that they got cut from Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that. I mean, they put an. I'll be this. They put enough in that game.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's fair. 100%.
I was still shocked that we got Dragonborn in general. Honestly, like,
Yeah.
like that was not one that I was expecting to get, and they put it in there, and they were even just like, we're putting our own kind of twist on it and making them just look badass.
Yeah.
And they've got tails. Oh god, our moderator Mars says Zodar as a mount.
I want to see. Let me see if I can get a picture of that.
Just get like Falcor going. Yeah, just flying through wild space. So are there any? Because I remember last time we talked about there were a few like spelljammery type things for players to get in, because y'all have the lock boxes with stuff like mounts and skins and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's actually where you get the Zodar armor.
Oh, that is
the image of in chat. Is you get it in the Doom Space lockbox, which also comes with, well, also has a chance to give you the Beacon of Meteor Swarm, which is an artifact that adds meteor swarms to different artifact spells that you might cast.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Also, chat,
I've
Lauren is
also
getting this image loaded up for us.
yeah, I've also wanted to call it the bacon of meteor swarm so bad. Meteor. Uh,
Meteor.
uh,
Then Mars's D&D Gundam over here. I
yeah.
love that. Oh boy, now that is if that is one of those like yeah no that's never going to be a crossover. But my god, if it happened,
Oh, 100%.
oh my god, I love Gundam way too much.
I finally got, actually, you'll get a kick out of this. I finally got the replacement part. Oh, cover my address from Bandai Namco. So I could finish my first ever Gunpla.
Oh wow, the first one had a missing part.
Had is a strong word. I snapped in half trying to put it on is probably a better way of putting it.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah, there's
The
the Zodar.
Zodar. That's so freaking cool.
That's so cool.
Also, I just say this for chat. Lauren put in our chat, sorry, Trevor. I am always fine with being Mike Wazowski, especially when it is a cool space robot monster thing.
Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski. Okay, so well actually what I'm gonna say here now is we're getting towards the middle of the show. Chat, keep your eye open. It's not ready yet. We're gonna be doing the giveaway here in a little bit because as per usual I failed at saying that we are live at the beginning of this, but hey, we are live.
We're live.
We're live. So we're going to be doing a giveaway here in just a few minutes. Mars will put a little keyword into chat, and then you put that in there as is, and you're in for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice, excluding Bahamut chests. And also, if you have any questions really about Isle Champions, about Neverwinter, about D&D in general, yes, Star Chaser, we are live. You can put those into chat with question, colon, and then your question, and Mars will grab that and put in a little text doc, and we'll talk about it later on. But Mike, I have a few questions that are just random things that popped into my head that I'm curious about.
All right, yeah, hit me.
Who is your favorite companion in the game?
So like the super basic answer is Drizzt, right? Like I know like mechanically he's not necessarily the best for the characters I play, but there is something about just having Drizzt running alongside you, like chopping things up, that's just great.
I did realize I probably should clarify for folks in the chat who have not played Neverwinter what a companion is. Like you can get a character to run around with you. Most of the time they start off as like a mage or like a cleric or something, and they're to help you, especially when soloing, to not die. That's clerics are great for that. Yeah, but there is a long list of creatures and characters that are on there, and Drizzt is one of them. But what was the other one that you had there?
Well, I also love running around with the Minotaur because my longest running D&D character was my Minotaur monk, back and forth, and so I just have a soft spot for Minotaurs. So it's great to have him running around next to me.
See, the funny thing is that like. There's a bunch of really cool ones in there, and this is not any bearing on the character model itself or anything, but I at one point got a Kenku rogue, and I named him Ken.
Ken.
And he became my favorite little companion ever, because like
why would he not? That's the coolest thing anyone's ever had.
Like I remember at one point, I don't remember what area it is. I was taking my time going through. I'm like, okay, well, there's one enemy over there, and then Ken just one shot the dude, and I was like, heck yeah, Ken!
And he looks at you and goes, heck yeah, Ken!
The other one, the first companion I got was the mage one, and I just named him Jim Dark Magic. That just made me happy.
Yeah, and then you can actually get Jim Dark Magic.
It's true. It's true. I gotta get the real thing.
Yeah.
What is your favorite location in the game?
I mean, I feel like it's a cheating answer because it's the thing that we're literally here to promote today. But like, just hanging out on the Moon Dancer and like just being on the deck of that ship and looking at the sky It's pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was y'all did a great job bringing that thing to life and letting players run it. I also like that it was a social space, like you could run around with other players and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
that was really cool. Uh, I'm actually now trying to think, like, what the heck is my favorite space? Because uh, actually, this is the funny one for me. Every time I start a new character on that, I get giddy when I get to go back to Neverdeath Cemetery. I don't know
Oh
why.
yeah.
I love that area. I love running around there and fighting zombies, and fighting a black dragon when it spawns.
I mean, it's just one of those like right at the it's right at the start of the game, but it's different from everything you've seen so far. It's the first like super thematic zone you get into, I think.
Yeah,
So that really like helps.
it's true. And I think that got sped up too, because like I think originally it was like you went to the dock area first. Because I feel like what the most recent playthrough I did, where it was like, oh no, we're going from Neverwinter straight to Neverdeath, which I was not upset about. I loved that. Yeah, I've definitely spent many hours grinding levels in that area. That's a fun place.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Who is your favorite NPC in the game? This one, I know this one is tough, like even for me, because like there's so many good characters that you all have in this.
Yeah. Um. Huh. Trying to think of uh you know out of all of the ones I've run into. You know.
Well,
uh,
here's the thing. I'll go first on mine. And this one is like it's completely a cheap answer. It's Sergeant Knox, and I know we have him in the
okay.
game, and like
The thing is, I was going with Sergeant Knox, but I was like, that's such a base, like that's such a like, that's the first guy you meet.
I
Like,
know, but like I love Sergeant Knox so much. And like when he came into Idle Champions, I was pumped. I let everyone on the team know I was excited and this was awesome and this was the best. Like just I don't know why, but him just go protect us enclave. Like I'm like, yeah, yeah. You know what? Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're in Protector's Enclave. I'm gonna protect Protector's Enclave. Let's freaking go. And like I loved that character so much that like even when my players went to Neverwinter in our home game, Sergeant Knox was there and like he was yelling and encouraging things at them every chance he got. But yeah, there's definitely some other good ones. Like didn't I think it was didn't you have Chris Perkins' character Flabbergast?
I
From
think so.
yeah.
We had almost everybody from Acquisitions Incorporated in the game
Yeah.
during that module. So
Yeah, it always astounds me when I go into that game again and there's new characters that I'm like, oh, I recognize them from this thing. That's really cool. Or I mean,
yeah.
and I've gotten to talk to Jerry Holkins about that happening with Acquisitions Inc. being in the game,
Yeah.
and specifically the part where you get on the like roller coaster ride part, the little dark ride thing,
Yeah.
and he's telling me that like Mike just had like a blast like working with that and coming up with the dialogue for it and everything.
So good. I had a 2-second conversation with Jerry Holkins once. I was running to one of his panels at PAX, and then all of a sudden he was walking next to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'm not late."
Well, see, that was the funny thing, and I didn't tell Jerry this. He and I had actually had a conversation before he was on this show, but it was in 2008 at Comic-Con when he signed a Penny Arcade comic for me.
It's always hilarious when you come back around to one of those. Like, hey, do you remember me? We
Yeah.
talked for 2 seconds on a day that you talked to 10,000 other people.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even say. I'm just like that's just for me. Like you don't remember that, and that is okay.
Hey, okay.
Oh boy. Okay. We talked about this before we started streaming. You do stuff with swords. Tell me about this. I want to hear about this.
All right. So this is not really related to Neverwinter, but
Hey, but you
I
know what? You're here, and your name is on the screen, and this is something you
true.
do, so you get to talk about it.
All right. Okay. Well, we do a show. Me and some of my friends do a show called the League of Swords, something that I created. Basically, I wanted to get into pro wrestling, but I didn't. I thought it was too late for me to start training, bumping and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I remembered I know how to choreograph sword fights, and I was like, what if I make wrestling with sword fights? And that's what we've been doing since last October. We've done 4 different shows in LA. We're gonna do our 5th one this weekend. And yeah, it's been really really cool. It's got this kind of like 90s nostalgia veneer on it. So like it's my big inspiration as always is the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. So
Oh,
best movie ever. Best movie ever. And so all of our characters are weird and crazy. I play a video game arcade like a boss in like a final fight kind of game who just
yeah.
punched his way out of the arcade and like is now in the real world doing sword fights. We've got an immortal samurai. We've got a gangster from Atlantic City in the 80s. We've got a
Oh wow,
Valkyrie.
you all really went for it. I
We
love
did.
it.
It's great. I
Like
love.
it's wild that you all made pro wrestling seem grounded. They were like, well, no, like, yeah, sure, that we say that guy's like a dead guy, but like we never really like confirm it. The rest, we're just people. You're like, no, I'm a mortal samurai.
Yeah. Did you ever watch WMAC Masters back in the day?
No.
Okay, so it was the show that was cashing in on the like Mortal Kombat, Power Rangers, martial arts craze back in the day, and they had a lot of like people who were just sort of known for being like really good stunt guys. Like if you remember in Mortal Kombat, the first fight that Liu Kang has on the beach against that guy with the dreadlocks who just seems so
Yeah.
badass. That dude is one of the main characters of WMAC Masters. He
Okay.
was the Machine. Um, and it's such a fun show to watch because it's so silly in the best possible way. Like it's like super serious, and it's like the World Martial Arts Council sponsors this show, whatever the World Martial Arts Council is. And then when they finally have 2 fighters fight, like they send them up into something that's like a post-apocalyptic wasteland or like the moon, or and they have to fight like 200 ninjas, and then
Heck
whoever
yeah.
defeats the most ninjas gets a point, and then they fight each other. It's so great. And then of course, it's a 90s kids show. So after all the fighting, they go backstage and they're like, "Say kids, let's talk about drugs."
Also presented by Skechers.
Yeah, it's the ass.
Oh, so someone in the chat says love WMC Masters. So
Yeah, it's a great show.
uh
That's the other big inspiration for us. And Lucha Underground, if you ever watched that, which if you haven't watched Lucha Underground, holy crap. You can find the whole thing for free on like a bunch of different of those like free TV networks now.
okay.
But it was a pro wrestling show that was on El Rey for like 3 years, and they did the same thing we do. They go wildly hard on, we don't care if this makes any sense. This guy who in Mexico, he was like an alien. No, he's an alien. He turns into light and flies around. When people leave our show to go on to like different wrestling companies, we kill them off.
That's actually that's really badass.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah, we're real happy for Troy over here. He's going on to bigger and better things. Now we're gonna kill him
Yep.
his character off. Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. Well, okay, so I guess like what do one of these shows look like? Like, are you in like a WWE style ring or like?
So I'm paying for everything myself still.
Yeah.
So like not a lot of like we're not all in like a big ring. Like I can't rent anything
Yeah.
right now, but we built these like stanchions of chains to kind of like circle off the area where the fighting will actually be happening. We bring the crowd in. I try to have them in like the round around the ring, but there's some
Mhm.
spaces where we haven't been able to do that, and it's had to be like a more traditional theater show. And then yeah, we do the whole thing. We have entrance music. Everybody comes out as their character. We cut promos on each other. We started with the last show just doing like straight up like scenes in the ring, so like just 2
Mhm.
characters talking as if they're backstage, not having to do it on video, just doing it in front of the crowd, which works way better than you'd think it would. It's really cool. The only thing that we don't have right now that I want to add to it is I want to eventually get to have like bands performing in between the matches. I
Heck
just think that would
yeah.
be super cool.
That'd be badass. Oh
Yeah.
man. So like is this is just me being a sword nerd. Like,
Yeah.
so are does a as a character associated with a sword, or the
Yes.
swords like depending on who they're fighting, or
No. So it's I mean,
but
as
can
a
I
sword
see a
fight,
guy with a rapier fight someone with a katana? Like,
you sure can. You absolutely can. We had broadsword versus katana. Well, what our first show in LA.
oh
It's
jeez.
yeah, but everybody gets their own sword that's theirs, their own style of sword that's theirs. And which makes choreographing for the show kind of a fun challenge because
I
normally you're trying
bet.
to choreograph, two of the same thing. Our first three-way fight we had at the last show, Valfreya, our Valkyrie warrior, had a sword and shield, and then Captain Astonishing, our space pirate, had a cutlass, and
Of course.
Ice Pick Johnny Lamar, our gambler from the '80s, has just like a Bowie knife. So he's like he's trying it. You have to have some people ducking and dodging. My sword that I use for my character is this huge, heavy thing. So like most of the time the fight, people are just dodging my attacks and then coming around and stabbing me, that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Well, okay, and I guess I have to ask this one: is there fake blood in this, or is it just kind of like ah?
We don't do the fake blood. We do the ah. But um uh we have magic in the show because of
Yeah.
course we do. So the monk slash referee just revives everyone after they die in a fight, so we can just keep people going forever.
That's that's
uh,
good. That's real good. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can just tell everyone at the beginning of the show is like, oh, by the way, we have the blood setting turned off.
Yeah, yeah, there it is. Well, I mean, the thing I really want to aim for is that, and you, I'm sure remember this. Like in the '90s, there were just all this kids show stuff that were like the vibe was very like we're a dark, violent show.
Yeah,
But it was not at all. Like it was just a super like squeaky clean
it's
kids show.
I still love going back and watching episodes of like Legends of the Forbidden Temple for like
Oh
how
yeah.
hard their lore goes in the the opening part of it, and then there's like, and we got the silver monkeys over here, and we got.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Although, can you imagine how traumatizing it would be running through the thing and a temple guard just comes out and grabs you?
oh my god! That always, as a kid, I'm like, all of this looks great until that is terrifying.
So I have a confession with Legends of the Hidden Temple. So for years, as I'm sure everyone else did, I would jokingly but still make fun of all of those kids who couldn't get the Shrine of the Silver Monkey because it's so simple. You just put one part on top of the other, and it's so easy. And then my wife and I were in the press room for Nickelodeon at Comic-Con one year, and they had the Shrine of the Silver Monkey.
Oh
And
my
we tried to
God.
put it together, and we put the torso on backwards the first try, and I was just like, I have been shamed. I understand my failures now.
Oh, that's so good. I mean, you know what? That is character growth. You
Exactly.
understood now. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
But because of this sword show, you get to work with Game Grumps recently.
Yeah. I was on their 10-minute power hour last Monday, which was super cool. We taped it. It's kind of hilarious. So we taped it in like June or July or August of last year.
Oh wow!
And so at the time, I'm wearing the League of Swords T-shirt, but I'm like, I don't know if we have any shows coming up. Like, I don't know. We've never done a show before. We've done all of our shows since then. So thankfully, they didn't leave the part in where I, at the end of the show, was like, "Yeah, follow us. Hopefully, we'll have something to show you by now."
That's a good editor. That's a nice editor.
That's a very nice editor. But it blew up really in a shocking way. I knew Game Grumps was big, but I didn't know I had people who I hadn't talked to in like a decade messaging me being like, I saw you were on Game Grumps. That's so cool. And like we quintupled our YouTube subscribers like overnight. Like it's been a wild ride. So yeah, Game Grumps is awesome.
The here's the thing: the internet is a shockingly small place sometimes. Like when I got the job as community manager, I got a message from someone I had played D&D with like 5 years prior. Was like, "Hey, I play on Champions every day. Good to see you, the community manager." And then a coworker from my most previous job was also popping up. I was just like, "What the heck?"
I had a friend I used to go on Power Rangers forums with who was like who started messaging me to report bugs in Star Trek Online. Like for me personally, it's like, okay, buddy, that's great, but
That's funny. Good times with the internet, but no, that's super cool that you get to be on Game Grumps and be, because I guess we said you were their sword. What did you say the
I was their sword safety person. So the way
sword safety person.
Yeah. So the way the whole Game Grumps thing came around is the first show we did was at LA Comic Con, and the woman who runs events for LA Comic Con, Rory Morrison, who is by the way the greatest convention coordinator I've ever worked with in my life and one of the coolest people. But anyway, she also works for Game Grumps, and so she let me know that they were looking to source some swords, and I was like, okay, well, all my swords are blunt, but I can give you some recommendations. Then the producer was like, I think we're just going to get some cheap ones off of Amazon, and I was like, cool. Do you have anyone to make sure they don't die? And there's a bit right at the beginning of the video you can see where Dan is trying to take a label off something with a sword, and the sword is pointed at Aaron, and that's my introduction to the episode, because you just hear me off screen going, no.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
but that is now a title you can put down in any resume, so congrats on that. You know, there's evidence of it.
It's a thing that happened.
It is a thing that happened. That's so cool, though.
Yeah.
What was the name of it again, just so everybody can go follow it?
The League of Swords.
League of Swords. It's a badass name. I know I've been saying badass a lot this episode, but you know what?
Everybody has
badass.
When I do Champions costume contests, I'm always like, wow, this costume looks amazing. And the next one, I'm like, this costume looks amazing. And then the next one, this costume looks amazing.
They hit your NPC dialogue.
Yeah. Welcome to Corneria. I like swords. Welcome to Corneria. That was a call back to the elder days of the internet, folks.
Well, we got to start wrapping things up for the next show coming up after this. But Mike, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me today about Neverwinter and all this fun sword stuff.
Thank you so much for having me on. It is always a blast to get to chat with you.
Yeah. If people want to find you and what you do on the interwebs, where could they do so?
So if you want to find me for Stowe, Neverwinter, and Champion stuff, I'm on Twitter at Ambassador Kel. So that's Ambassador and then Keel. If you want to just find me, I'm on Twitter and Blue Sky at Vengeance God. I'm on Instagram at Broken Infinity Films, and I'm on TikTok at Vengeance God 2. And then if you want to find the 3 podcasts I'm on, go to aceofgeeks.net. And if you want to find out more about the League of Swords, go to leagueofswords.com or check us out. Twitter and Instagram are both just at League of Swords, and TikTok is League of Swords _ because someone stole my name.
Those jerks. And yeah, be sure to check out Neverwinter if you haven't played it. It's free to play, and you can run through there, have some fun, bring your friends along, and then go into space. Space. And have a good time. But that's going to do it for this week's episode of Idle Insights. Until next week, take care of yourself.
Dad, are you space? Yes, son. We can be a family again.